So since we're dealing with a high compression motor here, I like to set timing first. I get the number one on top dead center and make sure the line on the timing gear is lined up to the marking on the oil pump, because you can have one at top dead center but like be 180 off. So yeah, you don't want any interference, because obviously with dome tops you especially have the chance of running into piston to valve clearance. So where it's set at now, number one, yeah, top dead center. So from here I'm going to set the cam gear it's got this, I'm sure you're familiar with it, I'm just kind of talking just to talk, but the cam gear has a marking that's supposed to be at 12 o'clock. Let's go in and take a look at that head, make sure that's lined up. Now everyone's got their opinion on head gaskets and if you should do dry or copper spray. Generally the rule of thumb is you have, like, if you have perfectly decked surfaces, like perfectly flat just machine surfaces, it's perfectly fine to do a dry head gasket. But if your surfaces are a little banged up, not very fresh, you've had the head off a couple times, blah blah blah, then it's probably good to then use copper spray to kind of correct the imperfections. But like I said, if you have perfect mating surfaces, there's no need. Just do a dry head gasket, you'll be good to go. Here's our cam gear set at the up marking here at 12 o'clock. And I actually got this new lens that allows me to get really close to objects. I'm going to test it out and see if I can catch that up lettering right there. Because this is as far as I can basically zoom in with the regular lens. So let's see how close I can get to that. So apparently pretty close. That is the up marking on the 12 o'clock sprocket or leg of the cam sprocket. But holy smokes, does it ever get close up and personal. This lens is awesome. You can see like the dust on the side of that gear. Anyways, I thought that was pretty cool. So as far as the camshaft, what I'm running is a comp cam, part number 59300. This is basically their stage 2, I believe, out of 3. But this is a Y8. The grind of the cam, I guess you can say, is just a little bit different from your OBD1 or the Z6, like your first generation single cams. The cam has to be ground just a little bit differently because the alignment to the sprocket isn't quite the same from like 92 to 95, from 96 to 2000. It's just a little bit different. And this is like a drop-in cam for the Y8. You can do like a stage 3 that's meant for the Z6 in here, but you would have to get the matching Z6 sprocket or an adjustable sprocket. So I just opted for a stage 2 drop-in, and it's not super aggressive. I'm doing totally fine with stock valve springs. I've looked at plenty of videos online where people are just like banging gears and revving it out with stock valve springs. I'm only shifting at about 7,200, but if I ever wanted to take this thing beyond, let's say 7,500, I would definitely suggest upgrading valve springs to the valve train to rev this thing out higher than basically near factory. That's really all I'm doing at this point. Now as far as pistons go, I'm using YCP 50 overboard P29 pistons. So they do feature the dome top, high compression. I want to say it's somewhere around, I don't know, 12.5 or 12.8 to 1, somewhere in that neighborhood. Let's get a close up and appreciate the quality of this piston compared to the junky eBay one I got before. So they took the time to actually machine the top of the dome perfectly flat. And on the underside of the piston, they machined and kind of, I don't know, cleaned up the casting a lot. Whereas when I got the junky China ones, the top was like raw. Like you see this finish here on the side, how it's raw? That's how the top was. It was obviously not a good quality casting. But these YCPs are very impressive so far. This should be the part number. Let's see here, ES20532P. I might as well link that in the description if you are curious or want to check that out, or possibly get these for your own build. It does help me if you use my link. I get a small percentage off of that, so please buy these pistons through my link if you are interested. Now as for the intake manifold, we're just using a Skunk 2 Pro Series intake manifold with a 70mm throttle body and RDX injectors with the adaptive top hats. just hardwired to the wiring because they do take a different plug. Let's see here, motor mounts. We got Weiss. No, I'm sorry. These are Yonaka motor mounts. You know, I got the 3 major mounts there, and the one in the back. Yeah, that's pretty much it. As far as the header goes, I'm using a 1320 Performance Toda style header. It's basically like a tri-Y. I know that like mostly all headers are tri-Y, but this one is pretty unique. If you look at how these two merge, 1 and 2 merge, and then 3 and 4 merge, and then those merge together. Usually if you look at like other headers, it'll be like 1 and 3 merge, or 2 and 4 merge. This is just it's a unique design. It's not your typical 4-2-1. It's more like it's like two 2-to-1s that merge into one, if that makes any sense. It's 2-1, 2-1 versus the crazy stuff that your cheapy 4-2-1 headers do. So from here, I think I'm going to go ahead and put the head gasket probably on the head, because the dowel pins are in the head. I don't want that interfering with the head gasket if I were to slide it on here. So yeah, let me get the head gasket on the head. I'm going to come out here and put the head on and torque it down. And yeah, call that some progress for today, but let's get to it. So it's actually really important to have your dowel pins in place. A lot of people forget that or overlook it. What it does, it actually like centers the head gasket with the head and the combustion chambers. Because with just the studs, there's enough slack for the head to slide left and right, or whichever which way. And you can actually have your combustion chambers not lined up perfectly to the block or the head. If you look at the dowel pins, it's exactly spaced, just a hair of each combustion chamber poking out through the head gasket. So I know the head gasket is centered with the dowel pins. Let's slap the sucker on the block and torque it down with the ARP head studs.